everybody, my name is Bella and I'm 12 years old. Today I will reading about The Dancing Man. A strong screen drawing. One morning, Sherlock Holmes handed me a sheet of paper. "Look, Watson," he said. "Can you explain this problem?" I looked at the paper. To my surprise, it was covered with a lot of strange pictures. These pictures looked like a little dancing man. "A child must have drawn these," I said. "Where did you get this piece of paper, Holmes?" "It arrived by post this morning," answered Holmes. "A man called Hiram Cubitt of Bridingthorpe Manor in Norfolk sent it to me. Mr. Cubitt is coming to see me today." "There's a ring at the doorbell, Watson. Perhaps that's Mr. Cubitt now." A moment later, a tall gentleman entered the room. He had a handsome face with clear blue eyes, and looked very strong and healthy. This gentleman shook hands with both of us. Suddenly he caught sight of the strange drawings. "Here's a mystery, Mr. Holmes," he said. "What do you think of these drawings?" "They look like children's drawings," replied Holmes. "But why do you think they are important?" "I don't know, Mr. Holmes, but these drawings are making my wife very frightened." "Well, that's why I have come to see you. I want to find out what they mean." Holmes held the paper so that the sunlight shone through it. It was a page torn from a notebook, and marking on it looked like this. "Sorry, because I can't take a photo. It's full." Holmes examined the paper carefully. Then he held it out and put it in his pocket. "This is very interesting and unusual case, Mr. Corbett," he said. "Please tell us your story from the beginning." Mr. Cubit's story. "I'm not very good at telling stories," said Mr. Corbett. "But first I want to explain something. I'm not rich, but I come from a very old and well-known family. My family had lived in Bridingthorpe Manor in Norfolk for nearly 500 years. Last year, while I was visiting London, I met an American lady called Elsie Patrick. Elsie and I became friends and soon fell in love. I didn't know anything about Elsie's family or her past life, but I decided to ask her to marry me. The day before our wedding, Elsie spoke to me. "I've had some very bad things happen to me in my past life, Hareton. Done nothing wrong, but I wish I could forget my past. Please promise me you will never ask me anything about it. If you are unable to make this promise, then please go back to Norfolk and leave me." So I promised Elsie I would never ask her anything about her past life. I've been married for a year now and we've been very happy. During all this time, I kept my promise. But one day, about 1 month ago, my wife received a letter from America. I saw American stamped. She read the letter and her face turned white. Then she threw the letter in the fire. She said nothing, but from that time there's been look for fear on her face. Mr. Holmes, my wife is a very good woman. I'm sure she had not done something wrong in her past life. But Elsie don't know. I am very proud of my family. My family's long history is very important to me. She could never do anything to upset me. Perhaps that's the reason she's afraid to tell me her troubles. Please go on," said Holmes. "Well," continued Mrs. Corbett, "yesterday morning a strange thing happened. I found this piece of paper lying on a sandhill in the garden. At first I thought it was a child's drawing, but when I showed the paper to Elsie, she fainted. Since then her eyes seem like someone in a dream, and there is terror in her eyes. I didn't know what to do. If I took the paper to the police, they would laugh at me. So I came to you, Mr. Holmes. Please help me. I'm not rich, but I will spend all my money to protect my wife from danger." I was sorry for Mr. Corby. He was a good man. I thought that he loved his wife very much. Holmes did not speak for some time. Mr. Corby, don't you think, he said last, you could ask your wife to tell you everything? But I promised Elsie I would never ask her about her past, replied Hilton Corbett. If she wants to tell me something, she will, but I will not ask her to tell me. I will be pleased to help you, said Holmes. I believe there is meaning in the picture of the dancing man, but I need more information before I can say that it is. Go back to Northford. If there are any more pictures of dancing men, make a copy of them for me. If anything important happens, I will come to Northford at once. Mr. Corby's second visit. During the next day, Holmes was very quiet. Several times he looked at the paper with dancing pictures on it. Then, one afternoon, a about 4 nights later, we had another visit of Mr. Corbett. He seemed worried and tired. My wife hasn't told me anything yet, Mr. Holmes, he said, but I have more pictures of dancing men, and, more important, I'm seeing the men who draw them. But I will tell you everything that has happened. The morning after I visited you, I found another line of dancing men. They were drawn with chalk on the tool house, which stands in the garden near the house. I made this copy. Hutton unfolded a table and laid it on the table. Excellent, cried Holmes. Please go on. After I made the copy, continued Mr. Corbett, I cleaned off the marks. But 2 days later, another drawing appeared. Here it is. Holmes was delighted. We are beginning to get a lot of information, he said. I decided to find out who was drawing these pictures, went on Walter Hobbit. The next night, I took my gun and sat beside a window which looks out onto the garden. At about 2 o'clock in the morning, my wife came into the room. He was wearing her night clothes. She asked me to come to bed. I refused. No, Elsie, I said. I want to see who is drawing this picture. Suddenly, I saw Elsie's face turn white in the moonlight. She was looking out of the window. I looked out of the window, too. I saw something moving near the tool house. A dark figure came slowly through the corner, and the tool house stopped beside the door. Immediately, I picked up my gun. I wanted to run out of the house, but my wife caught me her arms and held me back. By the time I got outside, the man gone. On the tool house was the same drawing I copied before. There it is. I looked everywhere, but I couldn't find the man. However, in the morning, when I looked at the tool house again, I saw a second line of dancing men. The light in very short, but I made a copy and here it is. I see that Holmes or Peter Corbett gave another piece of paper to Holmes. I could see that Holmes was very excited. Tell me, he said, what this second line of features celebrates from the first. It was on different parts of the drawers. Excellent, cried Holmes. This last drawer is very important that it makes me feel hopeful. Please continue your interesting story. I've nothing more to say, replied Hilton Corbett, except I was angry with Elsie for holding me back. I'm sure she knows who this man is and what this picture means. Now I must go back to Northford. Elsie is very frightened and I don't want to leave her alone at night. Well, said Holmes, please leave this picture with me. I will examine them carefully. I think I will be able to solve the mystery soon. So goodbye. This is the end of part 1, and let's wait for part 2 to listen to more about Kobe's story. Goodbye.